Hi, and welcome everyone to the Talent blog for Go Career Compass. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I am a career counselor. One of my jobs is to educate people about growing careers. And today I have a real growing career. It is my pleasure to welcome Sal Ferrara. He is the president and owner of Electrical Training Center, and I have known him for many, many years. And such a pleasure to have him here, and he can tell a great story about this industry, and all of you need to listen because this is a great opportunity for anyone of any age, any stage in life. So, welcome, Sal, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Lisa, and it's a pleasure being with you. It's been a while, and we're meeting together now, since a long, long time, and I'm eager and happy to give my personal
Journey.
career and everything that exactly how I got to where I am now.
That's great.
So
That's
it's a
great. Okay,
pleasure.
Sal, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, let's start with your own experiences. So, what did you want to be when you were a child?
Okay, so just a little background about myself. I grew up in Queens and single mom, three, myself and my two other siblings, my sister and my brother. So I always worked. I didn't know what I was going to do when I was growing up. I'll be honest with you. There was no direction. And then probably when I turned maybe 13 or 14 years old, we moved from Queens to Floral Park, Long Island. And I started going to school, good school and everything, but I still had to work and everything for my mom and, do what you had to do. And basically, I wanted to finish high school and possibly go on to college. So I didn't know anything about the trades or anything at that time, 14, 15, 16 years old, nothing about the trades. So when I graduated Floral Park Memorial High School, I decided to go to Nassau Community College. So I went to this is back in 82, 80, yeah, 82, 83. And I went for computers. And just a little side note, back in, I guess I was in eighth grade or ninth grade, I was in science class and we worked with the microscopes and everything. And I plugged in a microscope, and everything at the outlet, and the outlet actually blew up. The receptacle blew up. Yeah. So for
Wow.
like 3 years, I didn't touch electricity. I didn't even go near electricity. So just a little side note. And
Uh-huh.
so I went to um, Nassau Community for computers. Back then, computers was very, there wasn't even no laptops, no anything back then. And I was studying that. And around, I guess I was like 18 years old, 19 years old. One of my family members at a wedding said to me, he goes, Sal, um, what do you think about the electrical? He goes, I'm in the union and everything. He goes, would you be interested in going into the union? And I go to him, I go, what the union? I go, I have no idea what a union is and everything. And I'm still going to Nassau Community College. So he goes, it's a local union number 3, and I could get you into the apprenticeship program. I go, wow. I go, and the money's good and everything. So I dropped out of college. I had like maybe, I don't know, at 64 credits, I probably had like 40 credits, 35, 40. And I got into local 3, but I didn't go into the apprenticeship because I dismissed it. And also my math wasn't that good. So I had to like take classes on math and everything. So I actually started 1984, and I started working in a warehouse. And I learned material in the electrical. The name of the company was Forest Electric, and it's still around after like 30, 40 years. It's still around, and so I learned material. I learned purchasing, and with the union. And I wasn't in the apprenticeship program. I started taking classes with the union, and which was very interesting. And I started taking like estimating classes, all managerial classes. And then in 1987, working for 3 years in the warehouse and also doing big purchasing also. So, it's very vast, the electrical industry. So I was really doing more on the managerial side, um, administration side. And in 87, I got into the apprenticeship program. And I enjoyed it. I actually went to school. 2 nights a week. And I also went to college. The union paid for my college. So I went to Empire State College, and that's when my education really started. And actually got my associate's degree in labor studies, and I got my certificate from Cornell University in labor management. I was going for law and everything. So I did the whole apprenticeship program, and I really took a liking to it. And the journey took me from there to more of teaching and everything, because I was also very involved with the International Association of Electrical Inspectors. So I really loved the codes, electrical codes. So I started getting involved with the codes and everything, going to seminars and everything. And from one thing led to another to another. And as I started going through the apprenticeship program, I learned a lot. Working all vests, all different um, type of electrical installation, from doing power, lighting, residential, commercial, doing fiber optics, voice data, security, fire alarm, generators, subway work, street lighting. So it was all vast type of work. So had a great, unbelievable apprenticeship program, and also working, building new buildings from the ground up. And then I became an journeyman, and basically working in there for almost 20 years. And I became a master electrician. And I actually, a master electrician, just FYI, is that you go for your license. So you have to have a minimum of 7 years. So I went for my New York City electrical license. I was very young at the time. I was like 20, 27 years old. And we just moved out to Ronkonkoma, Long Island. From We lived in Flushing, Queens for a while, and I had 2 kids at the time. And I moved to Ronkonkoma, and I would every day, going from the city back to Ronkonkoma, I would study on the train for my license, and a lot of studying. And it was a closed book test. It wasn't even an open book test, so you had to know a lot. And in 1994, I got my master electrician's license. And after that, I actually worked for a union shop, and I was a licensee for that shop. Now, in between that, just got to tell you, there's always a caveat to everything. With the union, which is I'm third generation, there is called the furlough system. And what furlough means is that you have to share your time with other workers. So you could be out 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and going back and forth. I was out maybe a month, 3 weeks, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. Um, for me personally, I always worked when I did get laid off on furlough. I worked with the city for a while. I worked with a Health and Hospital Corporation, Belmont's Hospital. I also worked for the Board of Education in the schools in Queens and everything. However, every time I would work or I get laid off, I would, have to use unemployment. I would use some of my funds up and everything. However, I decided, and at the same time, I was actually teaching at the union, the apprenticeship program. So I was teaching all the way in the city, making money, but I couldn't make as much because I was on unemployment too at the same time. So I decided, there was an opportunity in Long Island in Willwood Avenue to work at a school there. So I was teaching the apprenticeship program still in New York City. Then I taught while I was on furlough. I taught for the license in New York City, the masters, because I was very involved in the electrical codes and everything. And then the owner of that school said, "Sal, why don't you teach in Long Island for the license?" I go, "Yeah, okay, I'll teach for the license." So there was this little school called the Electrical Training Center, and I started teaching there at the Electrical Training Center at night. And I was still on furlough and everything. And the gentleman, his name was Scott, goes, "Sal, how about, could you help me out? Could you, during the day, run the school and everything?" "Yeah, I'll run the school." It was a little Department of Education school. And he says, "Can you get your license, your director's license?" I go, "Yeah, I'll get my director's license." I says, "I don't care." So I get my director's license at this little school. It was only like, it was on a storefront too. And there was a little class, a 300-hour program for young students that wanted to, get into the industry. I didn't teach that. I taught at night. There was another teacher teaching that part. So around, I was almost out for like 4 months. So I called my boss and every day. I said, his name was Rocky. I go, Rocky, give me another 2 weeks out. I go, I really like what I'm doing right now. So I took another 2 weeks off. And finally, I decided, I really like this. I like the teaching. I like working with students. I like being in control of my own destiny. So I actually bought into the electrical training center back in 2004. And from
Which
there,
is
I
when
took
I
that.
knew you, which is when
That's
I
when
knew you.
I knew you. Yes, 04, 05.
Yep. Yep.
And I decided to leave the union. And I did. I left the union. I shelved my card and I just took my journey to another step, not knowing what I'd be involved with. But when you have a passion for something, and so the interesting part, I was 40 years old at the time. So I changed careers, still in the electrical industry, so talking about changing careers, you don't know what direction you're ever going to go into. It doesn't matter the age either, believe it or not. And you have to have a passion and love of what you did. So I took that little school in '04 and in '08, in economic times, that was when the banking industry crashed and everything. I had opportunity to buy a location, and I bought a building. And how you do that basically is with the SBA and economic development, workforce development. And I bought a school, I bought a location, and I took this little school, and I took it to a little location. And today, in 2004, we have 1,600 students
Wow.
going through the school,
Wow.
from maybe 20 or 40 to 1,600. And
Wow.
I'm blessed of what we do. And the whole purpose and the mission of the school is to give students an opportunity. It doesn't matter where you come from, what background, to give them an opportunity to learn a trade. That's the general mission we do have an actual mission of the school, but the opportunity is to give back to the community, number one, workforce development, and help young people in their journey into careers. And now I have over 48 employees.
Wow.
We actually have an electrical program. We have heating and air conditioning, refrigeration, which is unbelievable. I mean, that program alone, but never be out of work. You could work in the wintertime doing heating, and in the summertime, you're doing cooling. So it's unbelievable. We still teach for the master prep. So as long as you have minimum of 7 years in the industry, you could go for your electrical license. But I tell people with that, you've got to understand it's totally different. Everybody thinks that you could open up a business. The most important thing, just in general, which I learned, is that you have to work on the business, not in the business, to be
Mm,
successful.
mm,
I'll say it again. You got to work on the business, not in the business. So a lot of electrical mechanics or journeymen, when they come to my school for their license, they're great tradespersons. They can build a Brooklyn Bridge. They know how to work with their hands. They know codes. But the business portion, to understand how to work with employees, how to put policy and procedures in, how to put a business plan together, they have no idea. And that's where a lot of people fall down on when they want to go into business, which is totally different than working in a career, working for someone, which you can make a great living also. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of opportunities. So with the opportunities, which is very interesting, I get the question every day from people, what does electrician do? Or what is HVAC? Even parents don't even know what HVAC. It's a synonym, whatever the word is, acronym for heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, and ventilation. With electrical, people don't understand, and I'm just going to touch on this in 2-3 minutes. Electrical is very broad. How it works in the industry, just FYI to everybody that really wants to understand the electrical industry, is that we work in systems. Systems. Let me give you an example. In commercial, we work on lighting systems. We work on emergency systems. We work on security systems. We work on fire alarm system, power systems like UPS, under uninterruptible power supply system. So if the power goes down, especially in the banks like Chase or the stock exchanges. I actually worked at the New York Stock Exchange. You can have those computers crashing. So we work on a lot of systems. Another example is subway systems, street lighting systems. I could go on, photovoltaic systems, wind turbine systems, energy storage systems, battery systems, um, residential. You got systems in residential, you got pools, you got landscaping systems. So it's really very diversified. And then what's even better than that, you have facilities. You can work at facilities like hospitals, um, DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, like sewage treatment plants, Brookhaven National Lab, um, any big building that has a chief electrician. You could work, in those systems too. So it's endless of what you could do in the electrical industry. Besides working with your hands, you could do what I did when I first started: estimating, purchasing, um, project management. You could work for a manufacturer rep like Leviton Manufacturing, Square D, these big corporations, sales. You could work in sales. You could work at a supply house. So it's endless of where you could work as a custodian in the electrical, school districts, right? They have custodians, right, and all that. You could work there. So you know who was one of the biggest employer for us, not one of the biggest, but they do a lot. The town of Babylon hires my students. They have to do the street lighting or any town buildings, right? They need lighting, they need power, maintenance. That's another whole area, maintenance. So it's really it's unbelievable what you could do, but it's a lot of years and years and years of training, and it's very unique. And you're always, well, let me put it this way: with the union, and I have to be upfront, because with the union is phenomenal. You get your education is all paid for. It costs an average for a contractor, a union contract, and it's called the Joint Industry Board, almost $25,000 to put an apprentice through the 4 years of apprenticeship, which is very expensive. However, the rewards are unbelievable. They get college credits and everything. And a lot of independent contractors are doing that now, or big corporations will put students in a apprenticeship program and everything. Personally, what I do, we do have an apprenticeship program, but we also offer a certificate program, 600-hour program. So we work with electrical contractors and regular employers. In heating and air conditioning, same thing. There's apprenticeship programs in that too. They have what's called the A division. They have the small works program, which is maintenance, which is unbelievable. You get into maintenance in the heating and air conditioning industry, it's unbelievable. And to top it off, you can work any place in the country, which
Mm,
we love to keep jobs in Long Island,
right,
but there's a
right.
lot of opportunity. Um, just FYI, with my school, we offer the GI Bill. We offer Department of Labor back in the mid 2000, the late 2000s, when there was the crisis of the banking industry. A lot of Wall Street people, financial people got laid off, and Department of Labor um, gave them workforce development to change their careers. We had a lot of people making a lot of money going into the electrical industry and also the heating and air conditioning industry. So it's pretty interesting to see, people going into different careers, and it's never too late. I actually have um, New York county workers, like police department, the police, firemen, that they might retire at a young age. 48 years old, 47, and they want to go into the electrical heating and air conditioning industry as their second career. Give them an opportunity. So it's really interesting with that. So it's really what you want to do. Now, it's not for everybody, and let me give you the downside of it. I gave you the positive things, but what about the work ethic. What are you looking for? So let me tell you things that you need to understand being in the 42 years, okay? You're going to be working in 10-degree weather outside, and you're going to be working in 120-degree weather. If you don't like working outside, it's not for you, okay? If you don't like taking orders, what do I mean by taking orders? You'll be working with somebody that has more experience than you, much more experience, because you're just coming out of school. Yes, you'll have the basic understanding, you'll have basic concept and tasks of how to do things, like how to put a switch, how to, wire a switch, receptacle, understand brand circuits and a heating and air conditioning. You'll learn how to do control wiring. You'll understand how to do refrigeration and certain other tasks. However, you're always learning, and it's hard. So what I'm trying to say is you have to have your personality has to handle the job. If you, and I'm going to be upfront. If you don't like taking orders, and if you don't like working with other people, it's not for you. This is not for everybody. Being in the trade. Also, it's very physical. You'll be lifting things up. You'll be carrying ladders. You'll be working up maybe 20 feet, 30 feet. You'll be working on booms, forklifts, and everything. A lot of safety. You'll be learning a lot of safety in the industry. It's the biggest thing, safety, to make sure that you go home at night. But it's very rewarding. A lot of electricians that I know, they have back problems now, hip problems, neck problems from lifting and carrying. But that's part of the trade, unfortunately. That there's pros and cons to everything. But if you work safe and everything, it's good. Any questions?
So yeah, lots. So you fell into this, and I see people who have no clue, and you know that our schools do not really promote trades.
Yeah.
So how do you find people, and how do you see that there's opportunities and that this is for for somebody? It's
And
a
it's a
very
great
challenging
question.
situation.
Yeah, it's a great question. So let's start early like in the 2007s, 2004, 5, 6, 7s, which I knew you very well. We used to go to college fairs or career day in
Yeah.
high schools, and we probably get maybe 3 students. However, all the teachers and all the guidance counselors would come up to me. Oh, my husband's in the trades. But at that time, it was all about college.
Yes.
Everything was college, and I'm not going to get into the reason why. I know the reason why, but that's another story for another day.
Yes.
Okay, so there was really no, how could I explain it? Urgency to go into the trades. We were second-hand people at the time, but it was the best for me and everybody that was in the trade. It was the best well-kept secret.
Yes.
The best well-kept secret. Okay, so going forward, it just started getting more and more expensive for college for students.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we were always busy. Why were we busy? Because it's a one-stop shop at my school. We teach for the license, for the masters. Contractors always need employees. So we have contractors that are opening up shops. They need employees. We do professional development for the industry. So the contractors all know us. Union, private facilities, they all know us. So it's a revolving door. That being said, working in the school districts and everything, going to job fairs, it helped. And the biggest breaking point was when I think in 2015 or probably 16, we got our first opportunity to work with Kopek High School. And they saw it. They saw the opportunity, and together we worked, and we put the first high school program in our school. We were going to do it at Kopek, but they saw there was a need for the trade because and I sit on the board for BOCES, great program and everything. However, BOCES was getting overwhelmed with the trades. They couldn't handle all the school districts. We said, why don't we see if we could break into the high schools? And that's what we did. And Kopek was our first opportunity. and then it just started blossoming and everything. See, Belmore Merrick also. So we worked with Belmore Merrick. We were into that school district, and they loved the idea to bring back the trades, or to give them the school district an opportunity for not the college where we could just do the trades at the high school, give them an opportunity for that. So that's what we did at Belmore Merrick and also at Copeg. As of today, 2004, we're in 7 high schools
Wow.
throughout Long Island. And what's great about it all, also, just FYI, we save the taxpayers a lot of money. We are a private school. It doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime for my school. We're a for-profit school. Everything goes back into the community, and that's what we do. What's also interesting is we have an unbelievable, we work with the community. So the school, the actual students for heating and air conditioning give back to the community. What do I mean by that? We work with Habitat for Humanities. So everybody in my school, all the electricians, all the helpers actually built a Habitat house on Long Island. In heating and air conditioning, we'll work on different, we'll work with veterans, or we'll go into somebody's house and we'll do heating and air conditioning with those students also. So we work with the resource of my and also Angela's house, and we work with United Way, where we'll go there, fix their air conditioning. Our students will learn how to do heating and air conditioning right out, not in the real world, not just in the labs and everything. So it's a great opportunity to get out there and see. They'll go to power plants. They'll go to they'll go into a hospital like Stony Brook University, or um, what other hospital, like Northwell, and actually go into facilities and see what it's like and everything, and take a tour through that and everything. So they get real life experience, which is unbelievable. So I see a change now where more students are going into the direction, but at least, even if they don't want to be in the trades, they have an opportunity to work with their hands, have good soft skills like how to rulers, all the tools, how to use tools. So even when they get older, they'll have a basic understanding of the construction industry as a whole. You know what I mean? Which I believe is great, because it's not just academics. Well, there's a lot of academics without trades. I mean, math is unbelievable. I mean, we got to know a lot of math. I mean, we got to learn Pythagorean theory, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We got to know Ohm's law. We got to know volume, especially with air conditioning. You have just an example. You have a 2,000 square foot house. How much tonnage of you need a 5-ton air conditioner, 3.5. So there's calculations. The refrigerant line from where the outside condenser is, right, to the air handler. How much feet is that? How much pressure do you need in those lines? Okay, it's mind-boggling. I mean, I could go on and on. The code and energy, all the green energy stuff, the mini splits, big. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, and that's another thing that people don't understand. We still with technology. When code changes and things change, we're right there, the trades. I'll give you an example. You could, and for your audience, back in 1995, I did Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young is an accounting firm back on Madison, on 7th Avenue, or 6th, I think it was 7th Avenue and 42nd Street. Never forget, I was a project manager. I was a foreman back then with the union. And they had these big TVs, LCD, plasma, whatever. At that time, they were $15,000. $15,000. And we were installing them on every floor in the elevator lobby. And back then, in 1996, we would solder the RGBs, the green RGB, red, green, blue cables to give them that color, give them a color. We
Right.
soldered back then. There was no quick connects or anything like that. And now they use like a Cat 5 cable, one little cable to do that. And another quick story. Back in 1990, what was it, 92, 93, I did a satellite dish on the 58th floor of a building, a Bertelsmann building. It took us 4 months to build. It took over 20 years. Listen to this, to get approvals for the plans and everything on top of a structure, on top of the roof. So the iron workers had to come, put the iron up. We had to build this 50-foot satellite dish. So we built it in 6 months. I never forget this. We built it and everything, right? We worked with the iron workers and other trades and everything. 5 months it took us to build this big, gigantic satellite. All of a sudden, we had a commission, and commissioning means to start it up, get it working and everything, right? All of a sudden, this other company comes up and they put a satellite dish this big up on the roof, this big, that did the same thing as this 50-foot satellite because of how long it takes to go through the permits, the study of construction of building things and everything. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
There's a lot of planning to do. When they do the subway systems, those are jobs that were probably 10 years ago. They were in the early stages of planning. Now you get everything approved. So there's so many, like engineering. You could go into engineering. I mean, it's unbelievable. All the electrical engineering, mechanical. But if you learn a trade and go into engineering, it's a win-win because you're learning both the hands-on portion and the engineering. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So go ahead, Liz.
I love the passion. This is where people should be. Just let's talk practical. Let's talk about the investment for somebody versus the return. Okay.
Okay. Great
So,
question. Great
yeah.
question. So I actually teach my students that. I go, listen, when I'm in a class, I go to all the classes every day. I'm the owner, director, so they want to see your face with everything. Not like going to college. The dean don't walk into your class. I'm it. And I tell them scared straight stories. I'm here to be honest. So I put on the board $14,000, right? Negative $14,000. And on the right side, I'll say, how much is an exit students? How much is 4-year college? Roughly like 50,000, 40,000, So I put minus 50,000, right? Like, okay, how long, after you graduated 20 weeks, 6 months during the day, we have a day and evening program for HVAC, electric, and soon we'll be doing plumbing also. We'll be having a plumbing program. I says, after you graduate in 20 weeks, 6 months, in the other 6 months that you're working, how much are you making? I'll probably make around 15,000, maybe $20,000. So they're up $5,000 plus 5 in the first year. Plus 5, they're still minus 50,000 in the first year.
Right.
Second year, they're probably making around 55,000, between 50 without overtime, just straight time, $50,000. Okay, so plus 50 plus the 5,000 is $55,000. It's still minus $50,000. Now the third year, they're probably making around 75, 80,000 without overtime. Plus they probably have a little thing, maybe a 401k, health benefits, whatever, maybe a van and everything. So now they're making another 65, 70, say $70,000. So that's like 130,000 a third year. The fourth year, now you're really understanding what you're doing. You might become a foreman, like, or a lead mechanic and everything. You're probably making around 85,000 a year, 90,000 without overtime. It's straight time, and now you're up to $225,000, $240,000 in the fourth year, where your buddy or your whatever is minus $50,000. And you're still learning and you're still making money. Where can you go? This is what I tell students. Where can you go every day and learn something new and get paid for it? You're learning a trade. You're working with your hands, you're working with your mind, and you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
I tell them, I go, look, come on. I say, I'm the foreman. Okay, today we're going to do a generator, a residential generator, 5,000 watts. I'm going to teach you what a transfer switch is. I'm going to teach you what this is. I'm going to teach you how to run the service conductors, the grounding electro conductor, ABC. And they're learning it. they're learning it. They're still babies. You got to crawl before you walk. They're learning something. I say, put it in writing. Write down what you do every day. Have a diary. That's what I did. I mean, I could tell you, everything. Because once you put it in your head and you write it down, it's there forever. So that's what I tell my students. It's pretty interesting. And this another note, I see students now, 20 years, 15 years coming. Mr. Ferrara, thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, students all over. We don't advertise. Zero advertising. It's just word of mouth. And we're blessed. We're blessed, but it's also for the community. We try to give back and we give student opportunities in the workforce. So that's my little story, Lee. I don't know.
That's a great story, Sal. So I want to emphasize any age and any stage. This is very important
Go
because
ahead.
people do have all kinds of career transitions and career changes, and they find out that what they first did is not what they want to do.
Mhm.
And so I'm sure you have lots of people who have that circumstance, and they're
Both
looking for
ways,
something
both
else.
ways, Lee. Both ways it works. You know what I mean? And what I'm seeing right now, and I'm talking to your audience. I don't want you to just come to my school just to come to my school. You got to have a passion for it. You got to. It's not about the money for me. It's about I have a vested interest. The school has a vested interest, not just to our students, but also the industry. So we work both ways. It's a little different. So I got to make sure we're putting out the right um, helpers. Both HVAC and electrical and everything. So it's not for everybody, like I said. And yes, opportunities there. However, I also had students that say, Mr. Ferrara, I thank you, but this was not for me. I thought it'd be different. And
Hmm.
it's nothing wrong with that.
That's
And
good. That's
one
good.
other thing, one other thing, you don't know where you're going to go. Again, I'll tell you my story. 40 years old. Okay, I started in college. I was going for computers. I became a purchasing agent and I became a teacher and I worked in the field. But who knew I was going to go into the education industry? That's what I'm really am. I'm in the
Right.
education. I mean, I work with all the big colleges. I know all the colleges, Farmingdale, Suffolk, Stony Brook. I know all everybody.
Yep.
So it doesn't. And some don't put pressure on yourself. Students have to take it easy, work a little, and that's what I tell students, go into work at a supermarket for a year and a half. Just get the feeling what work's about, understanding responsibility. There's no free lunch in America. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. And I'm not saying don't go to college. You might want to go at night. You might want to go to college just to get, just an idea. And I also say, and this is my opinion, and again, Shakespeare ain't getting you a job. Reading Shakespeare ain't really, unless you go into English major, Shakespeare is not getting you a job. And unfortunately, that's how it was for when I grew up. You had to take English. And I just took English for reasons. Why take English again? Read books again. I don't know where it's going. Whatever. And I'm not going into the politics of it,
Sure.
but it
Sure.
is true. What we do is we just teach what we have to teach to get you into the industry. And that's the most important thing. It's all trade related. Everything about it is if you go into electrical, you can only learn electrical. Everything about electrical, you can do heating and conditioning, you're going to learn everything about that. Yes, we teach you soft skills. You're going to learn some soft skills, how to deal with people, maybe, how do you work with the customer, the client, which is good, and all that. But it's really up to the individual, the student themselves, the
So
opportunity.
Sal, this
Yes,
is a growing industry. Is that right?
it was always growing. Lisa, it was always growing. Yes. And another example is yes, we're starting to retire. I'm 60 years old. Everybody's retiring. That there is a need. There's a shortage in the workforce. There'll always be a shortage in the workforce. It's just how it is. People change careers in the electrical. So it's always changing. But right now, it is booming. Florida. I mean, I know other states that are just like they can't find people. They just can't. It's amazing. Um,
So
it is what it is.
people also want to know salary. So give me some entry level and growth when you start out. What do you
Anywhere
figure you're making?
between, yeah, from on the heating and air conditioning, it's a little bit more money. Probably between 18 to 20 $21 or $22 to start.
An hour.
On the electrical, it could be from 17 to maybe $20 to start. You got to remember, contracting, the owners are investing in them also. They're investing in them, and it has to work both ways. And like I said, you're learning as you're working.
Right.
So where can you go to work and learn?
Right.
You're getting paid for it, but you're also learning. You don't know as much as you think you know. A seed you got to grow. A seed starts from the bottom, and it starts to blossom and get bigger and bigger. In 4 or 5 years, you're going to know a lot. You don't know everything. I'm an expert, electrical code expert, and I don't know everything.
Yes.
And I'm still, also utilities, get into the utilities, TSEG, oh my Lord, Con Edison, those guys, in 4 years, 5 years, you're making over $1.50,
Yeah. Yeah.
100 easily,
Yeah. Yeah.
easily. City work, city agencies, the police department, fire department, health and hospital corporation, the schools, the Department of Education, New York City, right?
Right.
DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, working in the sewage treatment plants, the MTA, the railroad. It's endless, and that's heating and air conditioning and electrical. It's endless. The MTA, we actually have a program at the MTA in Brooklyn. They can't find workers. They can't find workers, and we do an in-house program for them. It's a step-up program for them, like an apprenticeship program. It's amazing. They can't
Wow.
find them. Yeah,
Wow.
can't find
Wow.
workers. Yeah, so it's
So
endless.
let's make sure that everybody has your contact information. Let's start out with where to find you and how to contact you, the school, and all.
Yes.
Give us all the contact stuff. Go ahead.
So the name of the school is the Electrical and HVAC Training Center. We also have an unbelievable website. I would go to the website. It's electricaltrainingcenter.edu. Okay, we're an accredited school, just like a college, and the difference is that we give out certificates, not degrees. That's
Right.
the only difference.
Right.
And you would call up or you would go online and ask for an appointment. And what we do is admissions, you'll meet admissions and everything, and they do a tour. They will bring you and show you both electrical and HVAC, see what you're interested in. Sit in the classroom if you want to. I don't care. They don't care either. And then they will call you back and see. Right now there is a waiting list right now. Unfortunately, we're looking to put another location out east, maybe in the next 6, 7 months. So, and we're in the 2025. We should have another location. We do job placement. A job placement right now is probably 95%.
Okay.
It's not 100%, and the reason why it's not 100, some students don't want to go into the city because that's where the work is.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of work with the high interest rates right now, especially in the electrical, there's not that much renovation. So there's work in the city, but some students that live way out in Long Island don't want to travel. Unfortunately, I had to do that when I was young. I traveled Staten Island, Jersey, just to work. That's what it's about. Also, traveling, very important. Let me just talk about that. In Long Island, you gotta have a vehicle to go. If you work in the 5 boroughs, you take the railroad and you take the subway. That's how it works. And if you don't like to travel, you're in the wrong industry. Sorry. And if you don't like to work long hours, you're in the wrong industry. Okay, you got to work. When the owner says, "Well, come on, we got to stay another 3 hours to get this job done," you're staying. Who's going to take your place? So there's no excuse. There's no any. Again, it's a trade. This is totally different than working behind a desk.
Yes.
Okay, just FYI. So getting back to the school, you call up the school, they make an appointment, and it goes from there. And then we have it's a little school. It's not that little, but it's a family-owned school and everything. And we take a lot of pride of what we do. And again, we work with communities and everybody in all communities and everything. So that's
Sal,
it.
knowing you, I can attest for that. And I am one of the people who fought really hard that career day should be more than, quote, a traditional college. And that
Yes.
was really important that we include you and other trades to be there so that people see options. And that was always a problem. I am a career counselor, and I
No.
felt that that was always missing for students, especially. So it's very nice to have included you and see your smiling face and educating
Thank you.
people who are trying to figure out, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? So important. So
It
important.
is. It really is. And unfortunately, technology with the cell phone, this and that. You got to do critical thinking, analytical thinking. It ain't just about the phone anymore. And with the trade, you're thinking. You got to figure things out, and your workmanship is very important. How do you build something? You're building things, and there's no room for error. Everything's safety. You don't want to burn down a house or a building, right?
That's
And
right.
and you don't want to, if you're doing plumbing or air conditioning, you don't want to flood, or you don't want the gas to leak or anything, and or not have heating or air conditioning. So it's very, very critical, and you take pride in what you're doing. You got to take pride. That's it. You don't take pride, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Signature is very important. What you do, how your work ethic, and how you work, very important.
Yeah.
So that's it, Lee. I'm only telling you
That-
based on my experience, and it's never going to change. We're not going to be taken away from
yeah.
IA,
You're not
AI,
going to
whatever it's
disappear.
called.
Right.
No,
Right.
no, no. They're trying that right now. They're doing three-dimension houses with this thing that goes around and around. We're doing one in Habitat for Humanity. It's a 3D house made out of styrofoam with some, but it's a lot of problems. A lot of problems.
Uh-huh.
It's so good, so
It's
good,
all good.
so
Sal,
good.
it is wonderful to speak to you. First of all, your story is really inspiring because you found your place.
Yeah.
And you didn't know. And, by luck and chance and, being open, you were receptive to something that really grew. And look at you now.
And I'm blessed, and I'm say I'm blessed, and just you take it day by day. That's all you could do in life, and
Yeah.
just surround yourself with good people, positive,
Yeah.
positive people in the world will make you positive. Hang out with. I'm just talking to everybody in general. Hang out with negative people, negative things happen. So
It's
always
true.
be around positive people, make
It's
you
true.
happy.
It's
So
true.
thank you, Lisa. It's a
Sal, I
pleasure. God
I
bless.
thank you. It is such a wonderful privilege to know you. And all these years, the
Yeah.
great work that you do and to grow the way you have, and to really give people wonderful options of something that is a great career. It's a matter of a best kept secret again. That's what it
Yes.
is. So we're out there and we'll make sure that people know about it. And thank you so much for everything that you do, Sal.
Okay. Have a
I
great
wish you
holiday.
all
Merry
the
Christmas.
best.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Sal.